What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a former WWE champion returning on Raw, a wrestler passes away at only 28, Charlotte Flair addresses huge criticism, a Raw venue teasing something major, WWE Facing Backlash, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight in our first story. Now, first story looks at a former WWE champion returning on Raw. Now, our top story today looks at a former champion who's set to make their return on WrestleMania Raw tomorrow night. Now, according to a report published by Fightful Select, former WWE champion Bobby Lashley will be in attendance for the show, and this could mark his grand return to WWE programming. Lashley was last seen at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where he was written off due to an injury. WWE believed that Lashley would miss months of action, and that's why they took the title off him, but it looks like Lashley has got the all clear. Initial plans were for Lashley to defend the title at WrestleMania, with Seth Rollins being a possible opponent, but when Lashley was injured at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in his match against Lesnar, WWE had to change up these plans. Lashley will also be at WrestleMania next week, and it is believed that he'll be going one-on-one with Omos in a battle of two giants. Well, one powerhouse and a giant. Are you guys excited to see Lashley back on Raw tomorrow night? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, scrap WrestleMania plans for Gable Steveson revealed. Gable Steveson is finally on his way to WWE, and there's a ton of speculation surrounding how Steveson is going to debut on the main roster. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there were rumors backstage in WWE that Steveson was going to debut at WrestleMania and squash Omos. Meltzer stated, "You don't know how many people, including those in the company, have suggested or talked about having Steveson debuted at Mania and just slam and pin Omos in 20 seconds to get his career going, but that's not the plan." With Omos being preoccupied with Lashley, it'll be interesting to see what WWE decides to do with the Olympic gold medalist at WrestleMania, and that's if they wish to debut him during the biggest show of the calendar year. Next up, a young wrestler passes away at just 28 years old. Now, there's some unfortunate news to share right now, as independent wrestler Logan Legit has sadly passed away. Logan was just 28 years old, and the news was shared by Chris Waddle, who was a promoter for the World Alliance promotion. Logan unfortunately got into a car accident, but there was nothing doctors could do to save his life. As well as an independent wrestler, Logan was also a hairdresser for a period, and he was a hairstylist for Carmella and former WWE star Peyton Royce. We at Wrestlelamia offer our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Logan Legit. Next up, Charlotte Flair addresses fan criticism. Now, ever since Charlotte Flair debuted on the WWE main roster in 2015, fans have been extremely critical in relation to her booking. Charlotte has been featured in a prominent position for over the past 7 years, and she's held the Raw and Women's titles 6 times each respectively. One of the main complaints from fans is that Charlotte's feuds fail to get anyone over, and she never takes any time away from the title picture. This complaint was put to Charlotte during a recent interview with Bleacher Report, and this is what the reigning SmackDown Women's Champion had to say. "I've been on top since 2015, whether I've been holding the title or not. People don't realize how much pressure and hard work and dedication. I've never had a major injury, and to be able to stay on top like that is a tremendous amount of work in our industry. Instead of just looking at it as a positive, like, wow, what a consistent performer, what a hard worker, it's just, she's just always in the title picture. She always has a title." Charlotte would go on to discuss her many title reigns during her time on the main roster, and the surprise revelation from Charlotte is that she isn't actually proud of several of her reigns. She stated, "There's a lot of title runs I'm not proud of, just because I didn't do anything with it. But when you look at it, it's multiple feuds with multiple women that I dropped the title to. One of my favorite matches of all time was a main event Raw where I dropped the title to Bayley in 2017. With where I'm at today, it's not that they don't like the good, they just don't like the best. There's a quote I look at, that's not exactly it, but I must be doing something right to always be talked about, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think the same criticism always goes towards men being in the title picture. In this business, you want to be the champion. I mean, to be fair, there is criticism against Brock Lesnar, who has always been in the title picture. But what do you think of Charlotte's comments? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Seth Rollins to meet with Vince McMahon. And one of the main storylines heading into Mania this year has been Seth Rollins' quest to get a match on the WrestleMania card. Although it's expected that Rollins will face Cody Rhodes at the big event, the story that WWE is telling implies that Rollins is set to miss out on competing at the biggest pay-per-view of the year. This weekend, WWE took the storyline one step further as Rollins took to Twitter to share a screenshot of a text from Vince McMahon. This text would inform Rollins that he is required to be at Vince's office at 9 AM Monday morning. Is it possible that Rollins vs Rhodes is going to be announced on Monday, or will the WWE save the big reveal for WrestleMania? Next up, a Raw venue is teasing a Raw debut or a big return. Tomorrow's special WrestleMania edition of Monday Night Raw is set to take place at the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. The arena is promoting the show by suggesting that someone may be debuting or even returning on the show itself. The arena would tweet, "Get ready for WrestleMania Raw on March 28th. You never know who's going to show up." It seems rather unlikely for the arena to tease something of this nature if they didn't have prior knowledge of something scheduled. Is this just Lashley's return, or could it be Cody Rhodes? Who do you think's showing up? Next up, Bret Hart shoots down AEW Rumors. There have been substantial rumors surrounding the legendary Bret Hart possibly being All Elite. The rumors state that Bret is AEW bound and could be the new on-screen manager of FTR. However, during a virtual signing this week, Bret shot down this rumor, as the host of the virtual signing would state there are a lot of rumors in relation to Bret joining Tony Khan's promotion, but this is when Bret chimed in to state, "Go there to do what?" It's clear that Bret hasn't entertained the idea of joining the company, so for now it looks like Bret won't be joining WWE's rival promotion. Also, during the virtual signing, the host brought up the fact that Triple H has officially retired from in-ring competition. Bret sat in silence as the host discussed Triple H, and once the host realized that Bret wasn't responding, the host quickly moved on. The clip has been circulating on Twitter for the past 24 hours, and it's no secret that Bret wasn't the biggest fan of Triple H. So Bret probably thought if he had nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Take notes, Ryback. And finally, WWE Facing Fan Backlash. Our final story takes a look at WWE facing major backlash in relation to the WrestleMania match card. This past Friday on SmackDown, it was announced that neither the IC title or the US title will be defended at this year's WrestleMania. Instead, the IC title will be defended on next week's edition of SmackDown, and it'll see Ricochet defend the title against Angel and Humberto in a triple threat match. The once prestigious IC title was last defended on pay-per-view at last year's WrestleMania. Can you believe that? This is insanely disappointing, and fans have quite rightly called out WWE for not caring about the title. In relation to Finn Balor and the US title, it looks like Balor won't be present on the WrestleMania card, as he'll take part in the annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which, just like last year, is set to take place on SmackDown. Now, it was rumoured that Balor would defend the US title against Damian Priest, and there were reports that they were considering bringing back the Demon character for WrestleMania, but obviously these plans have been altered or cancelled. WWE fans had taken to social media all weekend to share their anger towards WWE's horrendous booking of their secondary titles and their respective holders. Both titles should be a staple of WrestleMania every single year, and the fact they've been completely left off simply just isn't good enough. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.